What's going on, everybody? I am BirdDog John. Thanks for joining us today, and we are going to kick things off here. It is 1 a.m. in Melbourne right now, and that is exactly where I am. Without any further ado, I'd like to welcome Robbie to the show. What's going on, man? All right, let's see. Hey, what's going on, Judson?
Hey, thanks for having me.
I do much more. We are joined with BirdDog Ian, who is at the Capture Summit over in Atlanta. So how's it going, man?
Hot and sweaty.
That's the most important question that our team can ask. Why are you needing this camera?
Now, I haven't tested this thing since it got here. This is something that I'm really excited that NDI did. That's cool. Obviously, there are lots of flavors here, but this is the 4250 line. And our little friend here. Say hello to my little friend. It's brewing in the back of my throat. Based on the recommendation of Senseless, we're going to give a Java Monster a try.
Oh, yeah, Pocky,
We
dude.
got a little Pocky, and I have been putting this off for an age.
Oh, I'm so excited for you.
There is a Snacks on Stream mystery box brought to you by my Snacks on Stream manager, Brayton. What's going on, Bugsy?
There you go. What's going on? Balu, good to see you, man.
What's going on, NetHab? Hey, what's going on, Judson? And hey, Kevin, good to see you, man. What's going on, Jeremy? How are you? Thanks for jumping on. Oh, it's all good.
Here we go!
What's going on, everybody? I am BirdDog John. What is happening? Thank you so much for joining us today on this beautiful Tuesday, November the 1st, here in Auburn Hills. And wherever you are, welcome. Thanks for jumping on. And I'm looking forward to having a chat with you and seeing what's going on in your world. That light is wrong. That light is wrong. It is too blue. I'm gonna have to fix that because I just realized it now that it doesn't look right on my screen. So hang on here. Give me 2 seconds. Ooh, let's put up this old school one. This one. That's old school right there. All right. Okay, that's a lot better. That makes me not look quite as washed out, I think. Ah, there it is. I think that's right. Anyways, I like it better. I'm not all blue. I don't know why I didn't catch that before the show, but anyways, all good. What is going on, everybody? Thank you for jumping on. What's going on, GoWeb? Good to see you again. Thanks for hanging out with us again today. Appreciate that. What time is it in India right now? I'm curious. I can look it up. Don't worry. I can Google it. Time in India. It is 8:30 p.m. on November 1st over there. So thanks for hanging around for us this evening. Let's get this party started. This is probably because I was a little bit late. So how's it going, Jeremy? Good to see you. I will actually just realize that I haven't even checked the stream. There it is. Okay, cool. So it seems to be lined up just fine. Background music is back. Is it? No, it should not be back. I do it because I want to cut the show up into like clips and whatever, but the starting music is still there, but it's been there the whole time. Music isn't playing, right? VLC isn't running. It shouldn't be. If you're hearing music, Balu, you need to go and visit the doctor. It's a video. I feel like I'm in this video more than anyone but John. It's true, NetApp. You are. I'm going to cut this up and put this in the next intro. So there you go. You'll be in the next one too, maybe. We'll see. I feel so honored to make the intro, as you should. Yes, you're the last guy that I talk about in community there on that. So pretty great. Good stuff. Yes. NetHab is BirdDog famous. The lip sync is fixed. Good. I have a report on that, by the way. GoWeb says 8:30. I have a report on that. An interesting thing that I found out with vMix, and I think I've at least learned how to troubleshoot it, but I'm not 100% sure whether or not it's like the real deal. But anyways, I'll talk about that in a minute. But first, Dylan actually has a question. Hey, any info on new 4K quad firmware? It's been giving us lots of issues lately, and the only beta from January is and only the beta from January is available online. I do have a beta that I can get you. Hit us up at help@birddog.tv. It is a beta. It's not complete. The final firmware, no, I do not have an announcement for that. You will 100% be hearing fanfare for like a month and a half when that final firmware comes out, because it's long anticipated. But yeah, that is like their number one thing they're doing right now is quad firmware. I know that they're in a beta phase with a quad firmware, not an alpha phase, which has actually been a long time coming. And so I'm hoping that we're going to have something a little bit sooner than later, but I don't know. And I'm not the one that's writing that software. It is quite the firmware. So shoot us an email and just say, hey, John said that there might be a beta for quad, and can I give that a try? And my guys can send that over to you. They are standing. It's like a PBS special where they're like, receptionists are standing by. No, seriously though, shoot us an email at help@birddog.tv. Actually, I'll do you one better. Here you go, help@birddog.tv, and we'd be happy to send you that firmware over. But the final firmware, no, the announcement for that has not been made yet, and I don't have a date as to when they're planning on being close to having that completely done. So more on that in the future. You are very welcome. Thanks for stopping by. Really appreciate it. Hang around if you have nothing else to do. There might be other questions. I'm back in the office after a short festival holiday. That's cool. Yeah, it seems like everybody's off this week. I know the Australians are off, and I know that because we have an Australian customer that needs someone to call them, but there's nobody online over there. So we're going to jump on and see if we can fix it. But yes, lip sync is done. Hopefully it's fixed. Okay, you vMix users out there, let's talk about this real quick. So I've been experiencing this issue with this copy of vMix that I have. I'm running a really nice version that they've sent us for testing, and so it's been working pretty well. I like the NDI outputs. That's what I'm doing over here for StreamYard. I'm outputting the show via NDI, and then I'm bringing it over to a separate machine and streaming that up with NDI webcam. I'm streaming that up to like StreamYard, and then we're doing the show that way. I noticed this morning, I came in here about 10:15, and this will explain why I'm a little bit late this morning, but I came in here at 10:15, and I did some testing with my audio because I didn't want to like be right up on top of my microphone the whole time when I'm talking. So I made it a fair bit more sensitive, and I don't know if you can tell or not, but that based on previous shows to now, whether or not the audio is better or worse, maybe you can tell me what your thoughts are on that. Of course, it's all subjective, and I'll take it as constructive criticism. But anyways, I think it sounds pretty good. So I add a little bit of compression on the top end because when I get excited, I notice at the beginning of the show, it always like blows out the beginning of the show for like 30 seconds, and then StreamYard dials it back. It does like its own little algorithm and dials it back, and then we're fine for the rest of the day. Well, I noticed that I had a serious so I hit record. Let's back this up. I hit record, and I did a little audio test, and the recordings were like dropping frames. Like the output from vMix was dropping frames. I was nice and smooth on all my cameras. Everything was working just fine. And then I was dropping frames on the recording, and I thought, that's weird. So I did like 6 or 7 of them because I was checking the audio. Audio was what my concern was. Well, then I brought over the at like 10:45, I streamed the actual output over to StreamYard, and I was watching the audio meter in StreamYard and noticed that it was significantly delayed. And so then I thought, oh, well, I put that delay on in vMix to correct the lip sync issue that NetHab has just mentioned. And I thought maybe that's what's causing it. And so I changed that. I had to restart vMix, and I recorded again. I sent over, and it was still way off. So then I thought maybe the audio delay issue is related to the fact that vMix, for some reason, can't record smooth audio to the hard drive. I don't understand what's going on there. So what I did was I restarted the machine, because I would reboot vMix when I was changing the audio settings, save it, reboot vMix, do a fresh, boot up, and it would still record with these stuttered frames. So then I went back and I restarted the whole machine and launched vMix again and hit record and then watched the recording, and everything was smooth. Everything worked just fine. And then I looked over at the output in StreamYard, and that was actually, it was 200 milliseconds delayed, which is what we had just discovered a couple of weeks ago about my output with vMix. So then I put that back as we had discussed last week, and then everything seemed to line up all right. And so if I watch the show on YouTube, it seems that my audio and my video is lined up correctly and not delayed there. And also, if I hit record on my little X keys here, it records audio and video just fine. So I'm wondering if those two things are related. If the fact that vMix couldn't, for some reason, record audio or record video correctly was related to the outputs being delayed. I don't know. But we shall see, I guess. But yeah, give me your opinions here. I see some have come in. So is it true that after the latest NDI 5 firmware for cameras, no more climbing on ladders to insert USB sticks? Oh, this is not just a wives' tale, but in general, we'll say, let's say more than 90% of the cases, yes. If you're on LTS with the latest USB firmware, then you just need to do a firmware update to the camera. Now, I will warn you, this may not be a hard and fast rule for all of time. There may be functionality that will get enabled on the baseboard that will require us to still do a USB update. I'm not saying it's forever in the past. However, that is the goal. The goal is to only do single updates from the web UI from now on. Now, again, like I said, there may be a need to do a USB update to enable additional functionality off the board. That's the nature of the baseboard firmware stuff. I'm not saying it's gone forever, but I am saying in general, that is the goal. So here's hoping that that's the case. Oh yeah, and that's the P400. I have that running in low bandwidth mode just to kind of save a little bit on the CPU, although I'm not struggling right now with the CPU, so that's good news. But anyways, that one looks a little blurry because of that. And I think my overhead P100 shot is also in low bandwidth, but we'll get to that in a bit. Robbie says that the audio is about the same. Appreciate it. Hey, Robbie, how's it going, man? We were just talking about you. We were just talking about the fact that you came to our office and we had no tea worthy of your English heritage. So I'm very remorseful about that, and we'll correct that the next time you come to visit. With your setup, BirdDog John, you just need to get a lapel mic. So I have one, and I have a Rode wireless system that I could clip it on and put a lapel mic on there and be totally wireless. The issue is I can't give up this RA20. A lapel mic range is nothing compared to this. And so although it would clean up the thing, like Tom Sinclair really likes shotgun mics because it keeps the microphone just off frame, but it gives you good audio. And I still do, but it's at home. I have an NTG2 Rode shotgun mic, and it works really well, but I really like this RE20. I feel like for the range, the vocal range that I have, especially like the lower register of my voice, this thing destroys any lapel mic that I've ever used. So I like it. I'm not going to give it up. I don't mind the arm being in the way, and I can decorate it with like BirdDog stuff. If I feel like it needs to, of course the camera changed right then. If I need to, I have a little BirdDog sticker on here and one underneath here that you can kind of see. But yeah, this RA20. Now, I didn't go with the traditional RA20, and it's like a camo-ish, it's like a desert. It's like a desert gray. It's like a tan color. That's the original. This one is the one that's painted black, and I love it. If you can tell, black is kind of like my ongoing theme. So I'm kind of colorless in my studio scheme, but other than the green light and the blue light, everything else is everything else is dark. So anyways, that's all good. My hair light is on today. So you guys can be proud of me that I remember to turn that on. I'm not a sound expert, but the audio is good. Well, and whatever StreamYard's doing to the audio and whatever YouTube is doing to the audio, I don't know. But we're also doing like videos. So I'm also recording a bunch of videos for tutorials and training and a bunch of other, like an education module. And so this thing, like I can capture high quality audio and then use them in the videos so that they'll be as good as I can get them for now. And of course you can always improve, and we'll do that one day. Anyway, great. Oh, I'm glad you guys can hear the audio just well enough. Certainly outputting enough inside of vMix, but like I said, I do have a compressor on, and so if I get a little too excited, that compressor should kick on, and then we won't blow your ears out when you're listening to the show. So John is trying to fit in with all those cool kid Twitch streamers, which only use Shure SM7Bs or EVRE20s. Well, to be fair, so it was a toss up between the SM7B and the RE20. That was the path I was going to go down. And I don't necessarily I like the SM7B. I used it at NAB, and what I used it particularly, the reason why I picked that microphone, well, I really wanted to use that microphone there, is because I wanted the ambient of the show floor, but I didn't necessarily want to pick up the words being said on the show floor, right? Like I didn't want to hear other people's conversations, which this one would do because it rejects a lot of the proximity effect that you get when you get close to a microphone. And so with the SM7B, you get right up on that thing, and it's like this ASMR, like if you wear headphones, it's like this really weird proximity effect that goes on, which is kind of the point. Like it's a podcasting microphone, but it also does a lot of it's really great for recording vocals and instruments and a bunch of other things. It's a good rounded microphone, but it really shines for a lot of these video podcasters and podcast studios and whatever, where guys get right up on it and it rejects a lot of the other sound in the room, and it just captures. Joe Rogan uses them, for example. So I just try not to throw his name out because people have varying differing opinions on Joe Rogan. and you make friends and enemies real fast by talking about him. So the RE20, however, is great because that actually actively rejects the proximity effect. And so I can get really close to this microphone and it doesn't sound, if you're wearing headphones, closed back headphones, it doesn't give you the same effect that the SM7B does. And so I actually chose it for that reason, given the range of my voice. I chose the RE20 for that purpose. Now, RE20 is about like $50 more. And yeah, you're not messing around when you are looking at these sorts of microphones for this sort of setup. You're particularly looking for high quality audio. And the rule of thumb is, right, like YouTube shows, live streams, all that, it really doesn't matter about the video. You think it does because you go to YouTube and you're watching a video, but you think it matters, but actually audio is king. If it looks like crap but it sounds great, you'll still listen to it generally if you're interested in the subject. If it looks amazing but it sounds terrible, you will probably stop listening pretty quickly. And so that's the point. Always do the audio stuff first, make sure that that's up to speed, and we're always tweaking it and changing it a little bit, but audio is king, man. So yeah, get the audio right and then do the video stuff afterwards, which is irony because we're in the video game. That's what we do. So but when you're in my situation in a studio like this, yeah, audio is the point, because if it sounds terrible, people aren't going to hang around long enough to hear the content that you have to share. So there's that. Also, I had my Snacks on Stream manager, my traditional one, Brayton, was out of the office for an extra hour this morning. He had to take care of something. And so we had an impromptu Snacks on Stream assistant to the regional manager who jumped in and took care of things. And so I do have a mystery Snacks on Stream box today that we will dive into. I have no idea what he has put in here, but yeah, Balu took over this morning, and so really appreciate him jumping in when we needed somebody. Time was of the essence. Balu answered the call, so I have no idea what's inside here. However, this is post Halloween, and so it could be anything, right? Watch it just be like some dry Korean ramen, spicy Korean ramen with no liquid and just like sprinkled over it, and I've got to eat it just straight up. Who knows? I have no idea, but doesn't feel like that, at least. So we'll get to that in a little bit once we get on with the show a bit. So Hey, 23 minutes in. That was a really long intro. Now, the exciting news that you saw from the title is that our support team here in Auburn Hills continues to grow. And just a couple of weeks ago, we introduced that we hired another guy named Ryan. And what's really strange is that today, of all days, everyone's here. So we have a team of 7 people that work out of this office now, doing various things. They're not all ticket agents, and they're not all repair techs, and they're not all one thing. They all have specific jobs. And so today we welcome somebody named Jessica to our team, who oddly enough is in my associate circles, but from like 20 years ago when I used to live in Canada. I actually know her husband, and so yeah, cool times. It's a small world, but anyways, she comes on board, and she is what I would refer to as drinking from the NDI fire hose, which means that she's learning everything there is about BirdDog and NDI and all that stuff. And you're going to start seeing her pop up on tickets in the next 6 months, and so she will be working with the other ticketing agents that I have in the office, to give timely responses and all that sort of good stuff. So more on that as it develops. But today is her first day, so join me in welcoming her to the BirdDog team. And it's pretty exciting that she's here. And like I said, we've had like 3 weeks where people have been in and out of the office, either sick or honeymoons, or I don't know, a bunch of reasons why. And today, all 7 of us are here, and so it is very strange. Actually, Brayton had said it's going to be super strange that there's been 3 of us in the office, varying 3 of us in the office for the past 3 weeks, and then one day all 7 of us are going to be here, and today is that day. So I'm excited. It's a big sigh of relief because help has arrived, and yeah, we're going to be able to increase our service capacity to a level that we haven't been able to do in over a year. And so this is a fulfillment of what we had back in the day. Some of you guys remember BirdDog Tim. You remember Dave has been around on the show every once in a while. He has since moved to QA in Australia, and so he still works with us directly, but he's like a mediator between engineering and support and a bunch of other pieces. And so Dave is still around. He's still technically on the team, but he runs in his own department, and I'm happy for him. He's a great ticket agent, and so I was frustrated to leave to lose him, but he's still with us and doing good stuff over there in Australia. So NetHap says it's a box full of Nickelodeon GAC colored ramen. Oh, gross. Which is kind of like the BirdDog green color, if I'm not mistaken, is it not? Yeah, that would be sick. It sounds like it's dry, and so here's hoping that it's some sort of something that I will tolerate eating here on the show. I have a requirement where in a conference room with 12 people capacity, I want to use a P120 as a USB camera for Zoom conferences. What type of audio system do you recommend for such use cases? Interesting question. This must we could throw this out to like our installers and whatever, because BirdDog doesn't really have like a recommended conference room style microphone. However, there are some interesting things that have hit the market recently that seem to be like lockstep with like Zoom rooms and stuff like that. So there's a couple of options. The ones that I've seen are the insertable panels that you can put in the ceiling. And I think Shure and Sennheiser maybe make one or the other. I'm gonna Google that. I think it was Shure ceiling microphones, and it actually fits into like a traditional grid, and so you can just lay it into the grid, the drop ceiling, and then plug it in, and then it does like directional audio. Doesn't look like it's Shure. But for a conference room that's handling like 12, yeah, ceiling microphone, Team Connect Ceiling 2. That one I have seen used. Let's see if it's a little pricey here in the US, but it's made by Sennheiser. And what it does is it does some auto detect. Is it PoE? No way. It does Dante audio. That's nice. Let's see what other ports it has on here. Looks like it has audio out, network based. It's not PoE. See, this one, I feel like this isn't the one that I was looking at. Let me do one more quick little search here. Because it was like a panel, and I was like, that's really slick. It's really like flat. Maybe it's JBL. Is it JBL? Yamaha, do they make one? I guess everybody probably makes one at this point, eh? So Yamaha has one. Audio Technica has one. Significantly cheaper than the Sennheiser one, like half the price. Who knows how great it is, but and then they have these like ones that like hang down like a chandelier. That's a little strange. I'm sure it would if you purposefully built the room to do that, that would be all right. But anyway, BirdDog doesn't have one specifically for this purpose, and so I would definitely be interested in knowing what people are using because if you know if people have success with them, it depends too, like how you plan to integrate it, right? Because if you're going back to a computer, so here's an idea. You have a 120 and it plugs in via USB, and that goes back to the computer as your video source. And then you bring in this device back to the computer as an audio source, and they're independent. I prefer that because not only does it eliminate points of failure, but it means that you can swap something out if it's not working, right? So you have a video source, you have an audio source, they come back, they go into Teams together or Zoom or whatever. They go into Teams as individual sources, but then you can marry them up inside the software, and that would be good. I would be interested to see some real world tests on those ceiling microphones that do like spatial directional audio. I know it's bizarre, but they have a whole bunch of microphones inside of them, and then when somebody's talking, the thing kind of figures out which microphone is closest and turns that one up and then does some active rejection with the other ones. Be curious to see like how that really goes, and if it's practical in terms of it's feasible, it actually works, it gives good audio results. Like Zoom, when we were at NAB, we were doing some stuff with using a P4K and then using Zoom rooms to like chop up so that you had individual pictures of people, but all on the same piece of glass. It was bizarre. I couldn't believe that they could do it, but Zoom was showcasing this at NAB, where you could have three people standing in front of a camera, and it would create three different videos for Zoom, so you could use them independently. I thought that was really cool because then when somebody's talking, it could switch to that person, and it was using some algorithms to bring that person to the forefront when they spoke, and then when other people spoke, it would swap them out. So it was a really cool like way of doing that. It's using less cameras and more AI to achieve the same goal than if you had one camera per person in the room. So yeah, it's a really, really neat idea. Both Shure and Sennheiser make one. I have a demo from the Yamaha T for YVC 330 today, but it's a USB system again to eliminate audio sync. I wanted to pass it through the camera directly. That doesn't mean that you're not going to have audio sync issues. So you may get better results. I mean, you could test it, but the video and the audio may not be lined up when you enter the camera. There's no way to really sync it in the camera. So you could bring them across as a single source, but there's no guarantee that they'll be synced. So you'll probably need again, for versatility's sake, you may want to consider the YVC option. I don't know. Neriva? I don't know if I'm saying that right. They make array microphone devices for video conferencing. Very cool. I'll give them a Google. What's going on, Michael? How are you, man? It's good to see you. Thanks for jumping on the stream today. Appreciate that. Just remember, any kind of array microphone is only an attempt to emulate proper microphone placement. It won't be as good as a well-placed mic. I fully agree, by the way. They're trying really hard because here's the deal. When people enter conference rooms, they're usually not video or technical people. They're usually like, where's the HDMI cable? That's the question they're wondering the most. They're not wondering, am I using proper mic placement or am I in the frame of the picture? You need the technology to handle that for you. And so, yeah, Michael makes a great point, is that nothing will ever nothing in the current day can take the place of a well-placed microphone or microphones. But they're certainly trying hard because they're trying to eliminate the individual like needing to know, right? That's the problem. Like educational institutions, for example, I worked at one for quite a while, and I went to one for quite a while. And here's the thing about professors that have their doctorates and masters. They are experts in their field, and generally their field is not technology. They're experts in whatever it is that they have chosen to become experts in. And credit where credit's due. It takes a lot of work to get to that place, but it usually doesn't mean they're experts in using their computer. And so, yes, they have their doctorate, but they need it to be to the point where they don't have to take additional education to learn how to use your classroom technology. So that's kind of the point, right? We're trying to create devices that it can be accessible to everyone, and they can successfully use it, that it can be as clean as possible given the situation, and the results are acceptable for the end user. Again, that's a subjective thing too, right? Like we talk about that a lot on this show. What are your subjective objections? No, sorry. What are your subjective goals when it comes to what is it that you've promised that will be delivered to the end user or the client or to your school or to your church or whatever? What's the goal? And who does that need to be acceptable for? Who signs off on it? Yes, this is what we want. Because if you have subjective measurements of what it needs to be, and they don't line up with the end user, maybe the person that's consuming the content that you're creating, or maybe it's maybe it's like a Zoom classroom that you're offering online content for, whether it was for pandemic and now it's for online offerings or hybrid classes, or I don't know, whatever. Who signs off on what is acceptable? Whose subjective opinion is that? And, is an array microphone okay? Or is that not good enough? Hey, it sounds good, but I want it to be cleaner. Okay, then the array microphones are off the table because this is a $5,000 ceiling microphone that's not good enough for us. So, you have to really sit down and understand what the demand is for your particular scenario, and then figure out what might work. So an array microphone might work for some and not for others. That's how that goes, right? Synthesizing directionally can work, but it works much better for RF than for audio. Area of interest that is called, I suppose, where from a full video, frame part of video is cropped and taken into a full frame. That's what the Zoom room thing was up to. What's going on, MTash? How are you, man? Good morning. That's what Data Video guys have in a new high-end video switcher. So interesting. I don't keep up with Data Video like I should, because I know that they're up to some crazy things over there. So it's all about convenience. Just walk into the room. I realize it's tissue boxes on camera. Walk into the room. Put that down there. I'm not eating spicy food today, I don't think. It's all about convenience. I just walk into a room and everything is ready to go, and there's no setup. Exactly. And that comes with a price tag, and that comes with trade-offs, right? So as long as we understand that it's not going to be studio-based audio quality, unless, okay, so we want to have better audio. So get the microphone closer to the subject. How do you do that? Well, you can hang microphones near the front of the classroom, or you can, I don't know, give them a clip-on wireless lapel, or even just, to be honest with you, you probably get better audio if you had like a globe microphone in the center of the desk that's as close to the subjects as possible. But it's all about convenience and what trade-offs are acceptable for you. So there's all sorts of that good stuff. Thanks, Nightbot. Thanks for reminding us about BirdDog Cloud. By the way, I should change that because Cloud 3 is out in beta right now. So cool stuff. Cloud 3 coming to a cloud service near you. We did a show on Cloud 3, so if you don't know what I'm talking about, after this show, go back into the archives and look up the show with Jake and I, and Jake goes over some of the highlights with Cloud, and it's really beneficial. Or you can go to the BirdDog YouTube site, and there are highlight clips of that show They're like 8 minutes, 15 minutes, and it'll tell you the highlights about that. So SCC Esports. Hello from Nebraska. What's going on, Nebraska? How are you? The whole state. We are using the Flex encoders to stream to OBS and Streamlabs. Which one? Is it Streamlabs or OBS? Because those are now two different entities after the OBS lawsuit. For our new esports room, we would like to capture game audio and mics from headsets from gamers and PCs. What do you recommend? By the way, this is awesome. Thanks for doing this type of Q&A. You're very welcome. And thank you to the show. I am thrilled that you like the format because I like the format and I think it's cool. So it's always nice to find somebody that agrees. Okay, so we want to capture audio. This is a great question for this show. So we have an esports room. We've got microphones. We've got audio. The first question is, what do you have currently? Like, what are you using currently? So you're using Flex encoders to stream the camera content or the screen content from gamers, or how is that coming across? What do you have so far? Using Streamlabs mostly. Okay, cool. So Streamlabs is fine. And I saw recently, because I updated a Streamlabs library that I used to use long ago, that they accept NDI natively. So you have a couple of options. I mean, you can turn audio depending on how the audio is being used. So they got headsets or what have you. If that audio hits the computer, you could turn that into actually NDI audio channels at this point and put that onto your NDI network and capture that as an NDI source in Streamlabs. If you don't, and you need like a device in between, you may actually look at things like Dante that would allow you to do that. With a NDI 4250 switch, for example, an NDI 5 profile, you can put Dante and NDI on the same subnet. And so that would give you not higher quality, but it would give you high quality audio over Dante. And there are a lot of Dante devices that would allow you to loop through. And so the audio could go into the Dante device and then out of the Dante device as a loop and then into the system that you already have existing. And so to get high quality audio, you want to be sure you're covering everything. You may look at setting up an NDI Dante parallel universe, an NDI 5 profile from Netgear 4250, even if it's just adding a small 4250 onto the network and then putting the Dante devices on that. That might be a way to do it, where you could then bring Dante into a Dante controller and route that audio to wherever you want it to go. So a lot of software options that are fairly inexpensive if you're looking at capturing high quality audio. If you've got screen content from PCs with USB headsets, okay, so it's already on as a USB source. So curious if the NDI audio, the new NDI audio tool would work. It's on NDI 5. Now I don't know much about this thing. And maybe somebody who does can educate me. I probably should do some work and actually explore this a little bit. But NDI makes like a tool set now, right? And most systems, come on now. Oh boy. Hopefully I'm still streaming here. Of course, the NDI toolkit is like frozen up on me. That's always good. That's what you want when you're live. All right, so let me just kill this playlist real quick, and we'll jump over to this screen. Oh, whoa, I'm like huge on this screen. Okay, so in here, there are several tools that NDI provides for free. The one that I'm curious about is this Audio Direct. So bring in and out any digital audio workstation that supports something plugins. Now, I don't know those programs, and I've never used this. But I believe the purpose of this is you can bring in audio sources on your computer, in this case, a USB source, and convert it over to an NDI channel. I think that's what it's for. Correct me if I'm wrong, chat, if I'm just talking complete nonsense. But that should do it. You can install tools, NDI 5 tools, and the required plugin programs to do this, and then convert it over that way. I suspect that might work. There may also be actually an easier way to do this now that I'm thinking this through. And if you run, who knows what I'm going to do to my CPU here. Sorry, CPU. If you run screen capture. Oh. Well, anyways, if you run screen capture and you add the audio source as if you add the audio source to it, do you have to use screen capture for video as well? Can you just say none? There might be an option there where you can run screen capture and then marry the audio source from that computer to that NDI source and then send that across on the NDI network. That's a free option. You could try that like today. Also, maybe router might be an option here. Can you do audio sources in router? So I'm gonna fire router up and let's see what we can do here with this. So under destinations and configuration, NDI 5, can we add an audio channel to a source? NDI sources. No. So you can't use router for this function. That's a great question. Just like ad hoc what you could do. Let's jump back to the chat and see if anybody's thrown any better ideas in there that I have. Does the Flex encoder pass embedded audio, HDMI audio, or additionally use headphone jacks for comms, send their audio headset across? If you install NDI tools, you'll have the sound card that lets you send the new sound card that allows you to send NDI. What? New sound card? Hold the phone. Is it actually called that? Hang on one second. Let me open up my NDI tools. NDI tools. Where do you access this sound card option? I would like to know, because that sounds amazing. Yeah, let me know, NetHab, where you find that. VST plugins are like Waves type plugins. Pretty much any DAW supports VST. VST3 is a plugin for DAW. vMix supports VST plugins. Boom. Ian Foster, what's going on, BirdDog Ian? How are you, man? There's something in the SDK which allows audio ISO devices to be used as NDI inputs. I haven't played with it yet, but I think Jake has. Well, where's Jake when we need him? It's a tool called Loopback that could work for routing audio in that way you're trying to do. So right now we use the NVIDIA audio to HDMI, but we lose the headset audio even when not running screen capture. We just tested out the NDI 5 on V200 at work today. The new web UI is awesome. I love that. Thank you so much for saying that, man. Or lady. Your handle does not indicate one way or the other. Thank you. Appreciate you, human, for saying that. No, that's great. I'm glad you're enjoying that new web UI. I agree. It's way nicer than NDI 4, the LTS version. It's just it's more like customer focused, which I really like a lot. So thank you for saying something. That I will pass that up to the designers. They will also appreciate that. I haven't tried the Loopback yet. Black Hole is a free tool that does similar and is not as custom as Loopback. Click on your volume control and select Output Devices. We can tell BirdDog John is a video guy, not audio. It's true. I haven't played around with the audio stuff too much. Although, I mean, audio guy is a wide statement, because I actually do some like live audio stuff on the side. But anyways, that's not for this show. Mr. Human. Got you. Thanks for joining the show. Appreciate it. So if we open up our devices, I got a lot on here. My device list doesn't actually show that. But anyways, I would be very interested to know about this NDI sound card idea. Good stuff. Good stuff. So yeah, you definitely have some options, and I know that NDI is dabbling in the audio world. I wonder if we're going to hear more about that in the very near future, like by mid next year, if there'll be more talk about NDI audio, because how do I say this? I think the IP audio standard right now is Dante. if I was just to say like based on my assessment of the horizon and landscape, that is where I would go with this. Okay, so Dante is basically the audio IP standard when it comes to like sending audio around. It would be really cool if NDI and Dante worked together. It would be cool if they could, but I don't know if they can. And there's opportunities to like make money, but also to go your own way, but also to collaborate, right? And so there's this weird, we're in this weird spot where I think the industries are trying to decide, are we friends or are we like competitors? And so there's a couple of different things, conversations that I've seen happening in forums and a few places where they're trying to make up their minds, and that will dictate where it all goes, whether or not NDI tries to reinvent the audio wheel and do their own thing, or whether they align themselves with Dante and make it available in parallel with NDI. I don't know. Yeah, we shall see what happens, but I would very interested to see, because that will dictate what happens. I mean, NDI already has audio channels built in, just not as many as Dante does, but doesn't mean that can't be figured out. It just is like, it's unfortunate because Dante's a really good standard. I mean, it's accepted in a lot of places in a lot of ways. That's fantastic. I'm all the power to them. I just it would be great if it was easy to come to an agreement on stuff. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens, I guess. I just don't know. Audio guide discussion goes back to, what are you saying about people with touche. On my MacBook, my options are built-in speakers or NDI audio. MacBook. No, I'm kidding. Yes. And I'm using like that NDI audio channel from this stream. So I'm outputting in vMix both the master audio and like output 4, and that's the program. And then that's coming over the network to here. And then I'm regurgitating that, and it's NDI audio is my audio channel, and the NDI video is my video channel. So anyways, so there used to be a trick using stereo mixes as a pass-through, but I'll try the loopback and VST plugins. Dante is king at the moment. What's going on, Phil? How are you? Welcome to the show. NDI tools are just installed, not running. It's about PTP. If NDI can take PTP. Oh, interesting. How about Dante Via? It says connect anything. This is the piece where Jeremy is absolutely correct. I am now swimming in a lane that I don't consider myself knowledgeable. I should. The issue that we experienced, so when like we opened this office right in Auburn Hills almost 2 years ago. Oh man. Wow. So we opened this office in Auburn Hills, and that's when we really started talking about Dante running parallel with NDI and how we were going to integrate it with with our products. And they announced Dante Bridge and a few other things. The issue is that it's been really difficult to test any of that because I don't have a Dante network here. I mean, I do. I can fire it up and no problem. I understand the networking concepts, but I don't have any Dante products. Like literally everything I have is a soft product, I have no Dante hardware. And everybody's like, well, you'll just get Dante for hardware with the cameras. It's like, yeah, well, that's part of the issue that we're having is I need to test it before we launch it. But in order to launch it, we need to have it integrated. And anyways, we bite our tails sometimes running around in circles. So I probably need to just order like 4 or 5 Dante products and put them around the office on our network and create a Dante network. And then I will know how it all works and I'll be able to have some actual hands-on experience. But we haven't done that yet. So Simpty 2110 already decided that AES 67 is the wiener. Really? Fascinating. Is there actually ever just like a final winner? Did they say like nobody else will be integrated? I don't know if that's, I mean, perhaps they have. I don't know. NDI and Dante are brother sisters from different mothers. Yes, I see what you're doing there. Also, I don't know. I feel like maybe they're like third cousins once removed. I have loads of Dante hardware. Hey, if you want to send any over, we'd be happy to put it on our shelves and test it when we can. And we're a video company. Well, okay, so yeah, I see you're advocating for me to buy some stuff. Well, perhaps. I mean, if Dante for hardware comes out, then it's going to have to work across platforms, and then by all means, I think I have reasonable reason to purchase some stuff. But Dante for hardware's not out yet, so there you go. The great thing about standards is that there's so many to choose from. That's right. It's an industry standard among hundreds. It's the truth. It is the truth. There are so many industry standards to choose from. Oh, good stuff, guys. Well, we're just humming right along here, and I haven't even done my snacks on stream stuff thanks to Balu, and so let's give that a go for a few minutes while we continue to talk NDI.
John's just making up stuff to start drama.
Look, I don't know.
Look at him.
Wish me luck, folks. It's my first Vegemite experience.
Final, this is like cheese flavor or something. It doesn't really look too appetizing.
Good golly, this is something else, man.
Here's the thing about Pop Rocks, and I don't know if I'm the only one like this. Pop Rocks have always been a social experience for me.
I did not think that is what you were going to say. That's hilarious.
That is awful. Oh, gosh, that's so bad. Jeez. Holy smokes, man.
Yep. It's that time again, everybody. Snacks on Stream, Mystery Box time, brought to you this time by Mr. Balu here on the channel. So appreciate him putting this together today. Let's have a look. See, I don't know what this is. Made Good granola minis, chocolate chips. Ooh, I take that. And what is this Pikachu candy? Oh, gosh. I have no idea. This looks okay. I think I'll trust this. Although, well, maybe I won't. They're like little, like round balls in there. And then this, we're gonna have to Google Translate that. So let's crack these open while we continue to talk about NDI and all of the fun things that go along that you guys are still going with the chat. So we'll jump back here. These are interesting. Kind of a strange. It is literally a chocolate chip granola mini. So, all right. It's kind of like, I want to know why they're sticking together, right? What is the binder in this food? Huh. It's not bad though. It is made good. Made good or made well? Pure gluten-free oats, and then it has an asterisk. It's like may contain gluten. Are they gluten-free? Free from allergens, peanuts, dairy, wheat and gluten, sesame, tree nuts, eggs, soy, and fish. Oh, there's no fish or shellfish in the Made Good mini granola snacks. All right, well, I'll take that. That's all right. They are pretty good. Will I lose tally if I have an HDMI to SDI converter in between the switcher and the P120? Are you controlling it via NDI from your video switcher? Because if so, yes. The tally information travels over the NDI channel. So if you're not bringing the NDI into the video switcher, then it won't be able to receive the tally data. Just get the AVIO Dante to USB. Yeah, actually, we've looked at that at this channel. I should definitely get that. That's a great idea. You are a unique and special snowflake, just like everyone else. You're a unique and special snowflake in the pile of snow. It's $100. Yeah, so we've looked at that. I should definitely grab that. That's a great idea. Camera, flex out, HDMI to SDI converter to switcher. So yeah, it definitely needs to go from NDI to camera in some way directly. Okay. If you want to come out of the camera into a flex out via HDMI and then go into your channel that way, but the video switcher needs to be connected to it, at least see the NDI stream so that I can send the metadata to that unit. But yes, you would lose the tally if you didn't go directly to the camera. Hey, looks like Love Crunch. I don't know what that is. But perhaps, I don't know. Granola bars for kids who don't want to bite their own food. Did you just call me a child? Pretty sure you did. Yeah. It is I like this because it seems like good portion control. You know, like when you buy a bag of granola and then you just lift it up like a funnel into your mouth and it just all slides down. I cannot stop if I buy granola in that form. It just is I'm eating that whole bag, and it's probably not the greatest thing to do. But this seems like a good idea, and then you can just keep it to the just to those. So made good. I'll go with that. I'd recommend that. Now, this Pikachu, this is questionable at best, and oh boy. There's 0 English on this wrapper, which means that I have no idea what it is so far. So we're gonna get out our little Google Translate here. Let's take a quick picture and see what we can find out. Camera. Whoops. All right. Nice and up close. Pardon? What did that say? Did that say pot monster? Hold on. Hang on. What did that say? Wait. What? This is so confusing. Does it say show original text? Okay, so it's not seeing that whole word. Maybe I'm too close. Let's back out and hope for something better than that. So it's definitely, it looks like it's gum. It says Pokemon gum. Here's the real deal. So this is a fuzzy camera. Sorry, everybody. So it just says Pokemon. What about this word? I want to know what that is. Those are not English words. Let's try this one more time. Pom Pom Star. Pokemon Gum Cola. Well, this will be fun. Let's find out what this is. This is looks like a pad of butter is what it kind of looks like, this little silver wrapper. But oh, that is not a pad of butter. That is a very odd shape for some form of candy. It is rock hard. We'll just put this over here. I don't know what, maybe you're supposed to like break it in half like you're supposed to eat, but that what fun would that be? It has a white powdery substance on it. So that's always great in this day and age. Who knows what this could be? This show might get very interesting in the next 20 minutes. Let's find out. Okay, so 100% gum, and it is cola flavored. What was that about Coca-Cola? It used to actually have cocaine in it back in the day. Oh, dear. All right. This gum this gum tastes like flat Coke. Like it's flavored as Coke, but it definitely doesn't taste very good. Don't flavor things soda, because you're missing a key ingredient in that replication, the actual soda carbonation. Tastes like Coca-Cola. No, it doesn't. It tastes like the caramel flavoring of Coke, but it definitely tastes like flat pop. Whew. I don't know about that. Bali is feeding you like a baby bird. John loves portion control. Yeah. Gonna make me work a little bit. This thing definitely increased the saliva production, that's for sure. It was quite dry. I could also eat a whole box of cinnamon rolls. So that story is evidently legendary in this office. So one time I went to, I think it was Meijer, and I was having a rough morning. So I decided to make it better by going to Meijer and buying a box of, I think it was 6 cinnamon rolls. This is when we only had a few agents in the office. I think there was just 3 others. Anyways, I ate one of them on the way home, and I ate another one when I got to the office. And Senseless walked into the office, and I was like, "Oh yeah, you guys can have these. I bought these at Meijer." And he's like, "There's 2 missing." And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Who else had one?" And I was like, "No, these were not. By the way, these are not like cinnamon rolls. These were like these like massive." Yeah. So, anyways, after my diabetic nap, pretty sure they were still here the next day, so proceeded to eat them. Anyways, yes, I can eat. I shouldn't have unlimited access to like pastry items. Let's put it that way. It's not good for me. I saw Pikachu in the park playing football. Wait, was this on Halloween or was this on Pokemon Go? Because both are options this time of year, right? It's like Pop Rocks. Pokemon equals Pocket Monster. Oh, touche. It's a social experience. Oh man. Oh, all right. I'm gonna give up this this gum. That was fun, and now it's done. That's what I tell my kids. Well, that was fun, and now it's done. It looks like there was maybe like a fortune in there as well. So we're gonna just put that off to the side so that when I switch back to this overhead shot, you don't see used gum. But hey, these granola minis, not too bad. Not too bad. All right, GoWeb wants us to get back on topic. So let's go ahead and do that. Do we have plans to discuss hardware, software-based setup options for NDI in this session? I don't have plans. And you asked for that, didn't you? So that's what we're going to set Thursday's show on. Hardware, software options for NDI. Let's. I'll plan to do that. I'll even write it down for you just so that it actually happens after the show. So specifically, do you have plans to discuss? What do you want to specifically cover there, GoWeb? Because there are tons of ways to actually skin the cat. I mean, we could go down several rabbit holes there, but I can give you a couple that I have done, and I'll walk you through this setup, which I've done in the past, which has evolved over time. But I can walk you through also like the bare bones that I think is acceptable for an NDI setup when you're doing a very small production, a couple of cameras, maybe a couple of encoders, and then we can talk about like an expansive one where money is no limit and you have a customer that wants the best of the best, and we can go down that road as well. So we could definitely talk about that. But is that what you're looking for, or are you looking for something else? Because I want to be sure that we're topical and that we're answering the question for you. But yeah, we can definitely do that. And let's plan on Thursday's show. Oh yeah, and I'm hoping to have some guests on in a week on Tuesday. More on that on Thursday if it kind of pans out. So hang tight. Oh yeah, and Zoomtopia is underway next week as well. And so I'm going to see if I can pull at least Jake aside to join the show and maybe someone else. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I don't know. No promises. I can't promise, but it might be a lot of fun too. So here's hoping. He's like an old manual well pump. You just need to keep working him up to it. Give me a scenario. It was like Thursday. Better late than not at all. Currently updating P100s and 200s, and then noticed you're live. What's going on, Sherman? That's fun. Thanks for jumping on. I'm a hardware guy, and I want to explore what different ways to see we can do a studio setup for our different clients. Hardware-based NDI video switcher? That's a great question. Are you hardware-based video switcher or software? Most people run in the software realm unless you have the money to drop on a TriCaster or a Wirecast machine or something like that. But okay, yeah. So in your scenario, you're a hardware guy, and you just want some different, layouts as to how that might be achieved. I'm gonna do a small medium install, and then I'll do a large install example. Okay, cool. So TriCaster is still Windows, so it's not hardware. Yeah. I mean, potato, depends on how you look at it, right? They do make their own chassis, which is kind of what I mean. It's like Ross Video is technically software, but it's a hardware unit. So you get what I mean, though, right? I had Brayton told me before I went into the show that I should take one piece of candy per minute from the candy bag that's in the lobby, and try and consume one piece per hour. That would definitely send me into a diabetic coma. But I did think about it. Anyways, this is a better way to do this post Halloween. Happy Halloween, everybody! If you're a fan or if you celebrate Halloween at all, that was last night. If you missed it, it's November 1st. Welcome to November. Jeez, where did this year go? Like, we're approaching Christmas, y'all. Like, Christmas. I put up Christmas lights on my house this weekend because it was warm out. First of all, it was like 60 degrees. But I put them up, realized how many more I needed, and I'll finish that this week. But the Christmas lights are up in Michigan. They're not on, but they're up. So I'm not going to get into when you should turn them on. That's up for you and yours alone to decide. But mine are already currently going up. Before Halloween, they went up. So yeah, it's the year is coming to a close quickly. So brace yourselves. This is the Thanksgiving month. So that means that there's a week of football and gluttony, and the offices are closed around the United States. So just heads up, in 3 weeks that'll be happening. But 3 or 4 weeks, one way or the other. But anyways, this is Thanksgiving, and then Christmas is next, and then New Year's is next, and this whole 2 months is kind of a busy time of year and not really work busy. So everybody hang on. Good stuff. Same with Wirecast gear. It's true. Using a Blackmagic SDI Extreme ISO in my setup, video traveling from mesh of BirdDog cameras, flex ins and outs. Okay. That gives me something to go on. I have a P100 that's been having issues for a while now, and I just noticed that a new Bird UI, that the camera is connected 100 megs, but with the same cable and port, the other two P100s are running at 1000 megs. Ideas. Can you get it to, if you bring it close to the switch and use a small jumper cable, can you ever get it to report at a gig? Because if that's true, like if you were to ship it to me and I was to plug it in here and it reports at 100 megs, that would be a faulty baseboard. But especially if you're getting other cameras in its location to report at a gig. That's interesting. It may just need to be like, you may just need a re-image on that camera and not, it may not be a problem. It just may have like a corrupt boot sequence or something. It may be pretty standard. Sherman, if you want, shoot us a ticket, and my guys can coordinate getting that over here, and we'll give it a test and figure out what's going on. How old is the camera? That would be the next guess. Let me know when a real FPGA NDI switcher comes out. Yeah, there's nothing yet, right? 100 megs would make sense, but why I drop frames? That can, yeah, absolutely. But there may be something else going on too. So we need to probably have a quick look. I have a 3-foot cable, swapping the same cable between 3 cameras. Check the pins on the NIC card. Are they all straight? Like, I wonder if it's just a damaged NIC card or something like that. But it could be a corrupt boot sequence that we need to just re-image and get it back to you. That's not too hard, and we can arrange something with you for that. John, have you ever gone over the Open Gear card and workflow? I haven't, and the reason for that is we just kind of got things re-plugged in and good to go there, and then we've been testing the beta software out. So before I do anything there, I want to be sure that the engineers have had a chance to send me the best firmware they can. 104 is fine, which is the latest beta that we've got, but it still needs some tweaks. And so before I showcase it, I'd like to be sure that they're happy with it. That should be pretty soon, because it's walking hand in hand with the quad update, and they're pretty close with the quad one too. So I'm told. So once the quad hits, then Open Gear, because those are. Was just telling our new hire this morning, the Open Gear card I'm really excited about it, mostly because there's a lot of Ross chassis out there, but also it gives flexibility. Like, it doesn't take up any space on your rack, first of all, to buy another card, slap that card into that Ross chassis. Then you have the functionality of a quad, and you can encode or decode. And most people would put their Ross chassis near their TriCaster, so then you can go NDI into Ross, and then if they're older SDI TriCaster or an SDI ISO video switch or something like that, you can come out of the chassis and into those. So it's really flexible, and I'm really excited about it, because for example, a lot of back-end production suites like churches and whatever will use NDI as their confidence monitors, in green rooms and behind the scenes and in the hallways and for all that. So all of a sudden, if you could take a quad, or if you could take an OG card, put it inside the chassis, and then now you can encode NDI and send it anywhere in the network over fiber. Well, goodness, giddy up, that makes NDI for backend production a whole lot more accessible. And if you have already got an actual Ross video chassis, you're pretty much ready to go. But anyways, that's just me thinking out loud. The other odd thing is my Unify switches, it doesn't even get an IP. I had to pull out a Netgear 4250, so I'm thinking about it that it's a boot issue. Oh. Did the 4250 issue it an IP? What is the how long does it take normally? Like, what's the lease time on your interesting. Unify won't issue an IP address, but the 4250 will? Yeah, something's up there, man. That's not right. It would be great to just see if it does the exact same thing for us on a different network, right? Because then we could confirm that it needs to be imaged or needs a new board or something like that. But can you make sure to email me before you do that show? I want to make sure that I'm there for sure. Which show? So I've talked about 2 shows. The first one is the next show. We're going to talk about GoWeb's question about having hardware software options and workflow ideas. And I'll try and keep in mind there too, like expandable options. So, hey, we really like this setup. We want to expand it. Well, we're able to do that. So I'll go down that road. That's Thursday's show. The next one, though, is about installers. And Jeremy, maybe I should have you on, where I want to talk to some people about networks and what have you. And so we're going to do something special on Tuesday, I'm hoping, but also talk to some guys at Zoomtopia. So let me know which ones you're talking about. The Open Gear. Oh, the Open Gear show. Okay. Yeah, I will. I'll try and remember to send you a message when I plan to do that Open Gear show. It's not on the list yet, but pins look fine. I'll reach out via email. Thanks for the pointers. Yeah, sorry that's not something obvious, but it does sound like something's up with that baseboard. Yeah, with Unify still hosting DHCP. Oh. Hang on. So Unify is hosting your DHCP, you plug in a 4250 as a layer 2 switch, and it gets an IP when you plug it into the 4250, but it doesn't when you plug it into Unify? Are the Unify switches fully updated? I know they come out with firmware like every 2 weeks. Yeah, check those switches. Does it happen on all Unify? Like, do you have more than one Unify switch? If you checked it on like a different one, that's an interesting issue. That's not. Interesting. Yeah, that's very interesting. How long has it been since the Unify switch has been power cycled? You shut it off all the time, or does it like always run constantly? It's usually one of those two things. Last one. Maybe we should call these pretty good. They're good. They're pretty good. They're made good, which should be made well. But anyway, that's fine. You can call yourself whatever you want. I don't mind. But they are nut free, and they're gluten free, and surprisingly not taste free. They're actually pretty good. So, would eat again. Thanks for that, Balu. Appreciate it. Doesn't make sense to me. Gen 1 and Gen 2 Unify no-go, but added a 4250 using the same VLAN as Unify, and it gets an IP. Unify all up to date, but it's been on for weeks. That's strange, though, because like the request shouldn't... The request should be delivered at the same speed regardless of the switch it's plugged into, because the switches aren't the one that's... It's the DHCP server that's having the issue. That's so weird. I wonder if the Unify switch is like backed up. It sounds like maybe it's like its cache is full or something like that. Like that's interesting. Like the DHCP, if you like rebooted the gateway, would that really screw things up if you did that? This is odd. I'm drinking water. That doesn't happen very often, does it? If you want to have a good web-based option to make a plan diagram for setups, H2R Gear is a good choice. It's from a good friend, John Barker. H2R Gear. I'll have to Google them. See what they have here. What is this? Plan, diagram, and pack for your next gig. Oh, that's cool. Why would you pay? 2 active plans, 10 active plans. Oh, you can't export. Oh, okay, this is kind of cool. All right, we'll check this out. I'll bookmark that. And see what we can come up with. Very cool. Yoink. It's a home system, so I can reboot it and try. Second on the H2R Gear for quick and easy line drawings. Sweet. All right. Well, if 2 of you agree, your heart shall be also. All right, folks, it is almost 12:30. I probably need to pack it in. Hey, join us on Thursday, because on Thursday we are going to talk about GoWeb's idea of hardware and software ideas. I should probably have a sales guy on, to be honest with you. Maybe I should have Jake or CJ come on too, or Ian, and talk through, common hardware, software, small, medium, large install ideas as to kind of how I see it, things that I've done, installs that I've been a part of, and then we can kind of go from there. Now, obviously, the sky's the limits. You know, you can go down a bunch of rabbit holes with this. So we'll try and keep it focused a little bit, and then and yeah, we'll see what we can come up with. Hopefully, we can spout some useful information. Also, do not forget that if you have a question between now and Thursday at 11, hit us up at help@birddog.tv. I have agents now, not just senseless, who are learning and training and doing all that sort of good stuff. It's going to be a few months until they're like up and running independently, but I now have multiple agents answering tickets, and that's very exciting because it's been, well, I don't know, like 8 months since we had more than one. And so I know Senseless is breathing a sigh of relief, but also so am I, because when he's sick, then the whole office has to basically do his job. That's it's a good and bad problem to have. So we are excited that we have some new people. Today is the first day. Everyone's in the office. There's 7 of us in here, and you know, we want to welcome Jessica. She's new to the team, and pretty excited to have her along. So looking forward to that. If you can wait until Thursday, bring your questions back on Thursday at 11 to at least 12 o'clock Eastern time here in the U.S., and we will be happy to answer those with you. We're going to plan on doing some fun shows here in the future, and so be sure that you go over to birddogjohn.tv and hit that subscribe button, because that's where all of this stuff will be cataloged and archived. Right now, all the long form stuff is there, and if you want to see like snippet highlights, that's over on the BirdDog YouTube page. I may bring that stuff over to my channel. I don't know, but yeah, birddogjohn.tv. That's where everything that I do will be posted here. The long form stuff. So you miss a show, and you got a long drive, or you're alone in the office and you need somebody to listen to and put you to sleep, you can definitely show this show, and all those resources are there online for you to also review. So join us on Thursday. We've got something we're going to talk about. We're also going to be happy to answer any sort of NDI questions. Super excited about what this week promises, but yeah, here's hoping. Oh yeah, and hit those subscribe buttons. GoWeb is trying to get my subscriber count up, so so that's always great. We will definitely see you then, Sherman. Same BirdDog time, same BirdDog channel. Absolutely. BirdDogJohn.tv is where you can find us. Always great to learn, and thanks for bringing the questions. Go Web, appreciate it. Say hi to your family for us. It's always a pleasure to have you on here. I'm feeling a little tickle. Could anyone do my job, please? Thanks. We got to be careful, because we've never had this many people working in this office before, and so if one person gets sick, then we may all go down. So, so we got to be careful. But I think we'll be all right. Pretty excited, pretty happy to be back in action. Everybody's in the office, so we can all get on with making your lives easier coming forward. So take care of yourselves. Be good to each other. We will see you in a couple of days. Reach out to us at help if you need something. But in the meantime, have a great couple of days. We'll see you on Thursday. Cheers, guys. Bye.
Kids, you tried your best, and you failed miserably. The lesson is, never try.